right, share on a page you manage. All right, come on, here we go. Go live. Go live anyway.
There it goes.
Somebody sees it on Facebook?
Well, it says this meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
Good. All right, that's good. That's where we want to be. And the session is recording. Yes, I see us live on Facebook. Good. I'm going to close Facebook to avoid any weird echoing. And let's see here. Minimize. Oh, okay. All right.
Hey Eric, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, is that you, Ryan?
Yeah, this is me. Okay.
Okay, yes,
good.
I hear you. Okay.
That voice sounds really good.
We have 35 participants right now. And
Background today.
I am going to, what am I going to do? Jeez.
Hey, where's he at?
You.
Yeah.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Welcome to the
You.
September. I got to mute all. Sorry, mute all. Yes. Okay, we're all muted except me right now. I'll unmute people as needed. Welcome to the September 9th, 2020 meeting of the Carmel Mountain Ranch Sabre Springs Community Planning Group. I'm your chairperson, Eric Edelman, and we will proceed to quickly talk about meeting etiquette, which you've all heard before, but if anybody's just joining us for the first time, everybody's going to be muted until it's their turn to speak. There will be times when I have multiple board members unmuted and others, if we're talking back and forth, doing my best to keep everybody involved as they need to be. And I'm going to ask if there's any non-agenda public comments, and if you have any of those, you can raise your virtual hand in the participant window, or you can type in the chat, which I'll start monitoring here shortly. I'm going to create a list of people and get to you one at a time, or I'll read your comment if you don't want to be unmuted and talk. Please limit comments to 3 minutes or less, and let me know if you're pooling time with anyone. We're trying to get out of here in 90 minutes or less. That hasn't been the case recently, but we'll see. We're going to do our best because we all have stuff to get back to. Same procedure for comments on agenda items. You know, raise your hand in the participant window or type in the chat. And then we're going to move on now to introduction of board members. And I'm going to start unmuting people that I see in the board members. Unmute. I'm clicking on you guys to see how many of us are here, and then I'm going to go back. Okay, I have unmuted a lot of you. I'm going to stop sharing this screen. Move this over here. Okay, so I'm Eric Edelman. I've been a Carmel Mountain Ranch resident for nearly 17 years, and I'm a business owner here in Carmel Mountain Ranch. And Esther Berry, are you present? I didn't see her in the participant window. Okay, I don't see Esther, so we'll mark her down as not present. Ryan, are you unmuted?
I am.
Okay,
Ryan Yamasaki, homeowner.
thank you. Dan Thompson,
And Thompson, business representative.
thank you. John Chu, I didn't see him in here. I guess I should be marking down how many of us we have here. Let's see, we've got me, Ryan, Dan, John Chu. I don't see, if anybody sees him in the chat. Okay, got Joe Leventhal for public comment. All right, Rich Kreggy.
Hi, I'm Rich Krejci. I've been a homeowner in Carmel Mountain Ranch for 16 years now, and I'm really liking Ryan's COVID beard.
Thank you.
Well, we can all appreciate each other's COVID hairstyles and beards. That's great. John Schroeder.
Yeah, John Schroeder. I'm a homeowner in Carmel Mountain Ranch. Been a homeowner for about 17 years, and no COVID beard.
He's maintaining his pre-COVID look. Good for you. Mark Clark.
I'm Mark Clark, homeowner, Carmel Mountain Ranch for 17 years.
And an avid walker. I've seen you out there. I've seen you. Michelle Mullen. Oh, you're still muted. Let me ask to unmute. I'm clicking ask to unmute on you, Michelle. I don't know. Oh, there you go.
I got it. Michelle Mullen, homeowner.
Yes, I've seen you out walking too.
Mhm.
Everybody's out getting exercise. That's,
All the time.
yeah, good. Joseph Valencia. Does anybody see him in the, I don't see him in here. Why are we missing people tonight? So far, that's 1, 2, 3 that haven't. So, okay. Kurt Carlson.
Rick Carlson, everybody, homeowner since 86, and I got my hairs cut. Yeah.
Oh, look at you. Nice. Let's see, Silva and Majid. There's two. They're a 2-for-1 deal if we're missing those two. Okay. All right, I got to go back through here. We may not even have a quorum here. How is that possible? Okay, so I don't see Silva, Majid, Joseph, John Chu,
We need 7.
Esther. So that's we're 13 total. We're missing 5. Somebody do. Michelle, you're a math teacher. What is that?
8.
Is that 8? We're good. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry that we don't have a full board. I didn't get any. Not going to make it emails from anybody, but we do have a quorum, so we will proceed. Okay. Let me go back to where I'm supposed to be in the meeting. Okay, approval of agenda and minutes. So I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
And who is that?
Rich Krejci.
Rich, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Kurt, was that you? Okay, so all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Abstentions? Okay, good. So that's unanimous. 8 of us approving the minutes or the agenda for tonight. And I had sent out minutes for July and August, and I did receive some revision suggestions or correction suggestions from a couple of people. And so I guess I would look for a motion to approve those minutes with the corrections that I've been sent. I don't know if I need to go through those. They were pretty minor, but do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to, we approve the meeting minutes with the recommended edits.
Thank you. Second on that?
I'll second that same motion.
All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Shout now or forever hold your peace.
I'm abstaining. I didn't get a chance to read the minutes.
Okay, so we've got seven yes and one abstention. Mark's iPhone wants to unmute again.
Sorry, once you remute yourself, it doesn't allow you to unmute yourself again.
I think with board members for now, as long as you're unmuted, if you don't have any background noise and you're comfortable being unmuted, go ahead and stay that way for now, I guess, because, well, whatever you want to do, I'll get back to, you can just message me. Okay, so we have 7 in favor and 1 abstention on the minutes. I'll ask, I don't know if we that's only seven yeses, which, well, we have a quorum, and that's a majority of the quorum. So I'd say those minutes are approved with the recommended revisions. And then the YouTube videos from the meetings, let's see, I've got, it's April through present. Are all uploaded to YouTube currently. I have them marked as private. I need to just clean up the descriptions a little bit, and then I will make those videos public and share the links with the community. So we'll have the ability to go back and see all the meetings, all the fun that we've had in 2020. You can share in it with us if you didn't have a chance to attend those. So I believe we can move on from that to public comment, non-agenda. And I have Joe Leventhal would like to make a public comment. And so I'm gonna find him and unmute him.
I think I'm unmuted.
You are, Joe. Welcome. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for unmuting me. Thank you for giving me a few minutes. I've spoken with all of you before, as you may remember. And for those who I haven't spoken with before, I'm running for San Diego City Council, District 5, which includes Carmel Mountain Ranch. I have spoken to many of you individually. My background is on my website, joeforsandiego.com. I'm a business owner. I've lived in the district over 15 years. My wife and I have 3 kids. They're 12, 11, and 9. And that creates some new challenges with COVID these days. But I also want to talk to you about what I know is on a lot of your minds as well. I've been very clear, as you probably can anticipate, that I cannot take a position one way or the other on the golf course project that's being proposed by New Urban West, because I would then have to recuse myself. But I have expressed my concerns both to Jonathan at New Urban West, and I've shared those with many of you individually. I am concerned about increasing the population of Carmel Mountain Ranch by 25% and sticking it all on a golf course. I am very concerned about the impact on our infrastructure, our schools, our roads, and very, very much concerned about fire safety issues, frankly, with any new development, particularly when you see smoke in the sky in San Diego right now. And we're all very much reminded of the fires that we've had, evacuated twice over the last 15 years from this district. So I know it's a real threat. More generally, I'm a big supporter of the community planning groups. One of the very first proposals I put out there as a candidate was a proposal that actually strengthens the role of our community planning groups in school safety issues, the areas around schools. The reason I did that, frankly, is to put a marker out there. I know community planning groups are under attack by a lot of individuals in the city. I think that their role needs to be strengthened, more formalized, and it's the way that the community can provide their input. We shouldn't have, essentially 8 other council members deciding on every decision for a district that doesn't impact them on a day-to-day basis. We need that input from the community planning group members to really make sure the entire council is educated on the impacts of community development and other community issues. So with that, I will just leave it there. Again, my website's joeforsandiego.com. We're 55 days away from the election, so it's about to be silly season, and I'm sure you're going to see a lot from me, about me, some of which will be true, some of which won't. But if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I'm happy to talk to anyone one-on-one at any time. So thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, Corey Briggs is asking to be unmuted for public comment. Where'd you? I was just here a second ago. There we go.
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are. Go ahead, Corey.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the time. I'm Corey Briggs, and I'm running for city attorney. I want to do three things. I want to get rid of the politics in the office. I want to return transparency to City Hall. And I want to restore the public's confidence that the city attorney's office is doing a good job. One of the ways I'm going to do that is by staffing your community planning groups. Every community planning group, you volunteer, you're doing God's work in your community, and you should have a lawyer staff to help you with everything. Part of the reason for doing that is because we want you to know what's happening in your city early. We don't want you to be surprised when projects come up. So we want to be a conduit for information. We also want to make sure that your concerns and your input get translated into enforceable portions of projects that go to the city council for approval. As Joe mentioned, the community planning groups are under attack. They're under attack by special interests. I want to make sure that you can continue to do what you're doing. I'm not interested in protecting the special interests. I am interested in making sure that residents can protect their communities. As a city attorney, if you have a staff member who's listening to your concerns and making sure that mitigation and alternatives and things like that are getting put into the EIRs and into the approvals, and they're enforceable, that's how we can work together for you to protect your neighborhoods and do the best work you can possibly do as volunteers. I don't take money from developers, from special interests, from union leaders, from anybody trying to do business with the city. I don't take money from lobbyists. I'm beholden only to the voters and to the taxpayers and to the residents. If you're interested in learning more, it's coreybriggs.com. Thanks very much.
Thank you. And as John Geltner is pointing out in the comment, political campaigning is a violation of our bylaws. I don't really consider what we've heard here tonight to necessarily be campaigning. We had introductions from candidates for office, and I will certainly allow their opponents, whoever they might be, if they would like to introduce themselves to our group. Okay, do I have any other? Okay, Kurt, you had a comment?
Yeah, just a short one, because actually Corey brought it up, and one of the things that has always bothered me is that our city planning representative has usually absent from all our meetings.
Yes.
And it's really feeling like we're being totally ignored, underserviced, not getting any advice, not getting any assistance, especially with the two projects that we have going on. I think we're probably one of the only districts that have two major projects like this going on, that, at least in our eyes. But so is there any way that we could make a complaint or have a better, to some individual that could give us an idea of what we could do about that? Or is that something that we have to live with?
Well, I don't know. Tony Kempton is our planning department representative, liaison, whatever his title is with regard to our planning group. And he receives the agendas like everyone else. And Mike Prinz, who's the lead planner on, well, not the lead planner, but he's in charge of part of the Trails project, the community plan amendment. I believe he's attended a few of our meetings. He couldn't be here tonight. But yeah, that's, it's something that it always sticks in my side a bit, that we don't get more support from the planning department, and I don't know why that is. I have certainly brought it up. I don't know that I've complained about it per se, but you know, I'll bring it to their attention again, and I do have emails for all of their superiors, so I will maybe reach out and ask what should we expect in terms of attendance by the planning department at our meetings.
You know, just to add to that is that, you know, when I was on the board, you know, for 2 years back, we always had somebody from the city there. And when they didn't show up, they notified us that they weren't going to be there.
I know. I was there with you for part of that time, so I remember. I mean, it's odd when we had, you know, a little more than 2 years ago, before we were officially reformed, we would meet every other month, and he was always there. He was there every time. But ever since we've reactivated in October of 2018, I believe it was, we have not really seen very much of them, and it's their absence is noticed. It's glaring, and you know, with everything else we've been doing, I haven't really focused or pointed that out to anyone recently, but I will go back and do that. I think that maybe what I should do is email the boss over there and ask what is it that we should be expecting, and you know, if we should be expecting to be ignored, or if we should be expecting to see a rep here at our meetings, because there definitely are times when, you know, I certainly don't know everything, or even close to everything that that these guys do with regard to the process and everything else. And I like it when they're here because I can throw some of the difficult questions to them. But appreciate you pointing that out, and we'll follow up on it. So I have Brian Hollinsworth has a non-agenda comment.
Thanks. Thanks, Eric. So what I wanted to do is just give everybody a heads up regarding parking. So you hear in the news that parking enforcement is on holiday right now, but it's actually just like holiday parking rules. So, you know, while we have the thieves at night shopping from our cars that are unlocked, we also have the police driving through up and down our streets with cameras, taking pictures of cars and issuing tickets by mail. So there's no ticket on the car to know what's happening. All of a sudden you get a thing in the mail that says driveway. Okay, my car's in my driveway. What's this for? And then you go online, you see a little photo, and you're like, what? Huh? And then you can try to appeal it. And then that's automatically going to be rejected because it's handled by a third party. And then you get to go to the next round of appeal, and we'll see what happens. But heads up, if you're parking in front of your driveway or in the process of moving your car from one parking spot to the other to make room for somebody else, and that car drives by, they'll just take a picture. Don't even get out to explore what's going on. Don't see that there's a driver sitting in the car moving it. You get a ticket. So a lot of my neighbors like to block their driveway so the kids can play in the garage, especially right now. People are turning their garages into schools, so they need to move their cars. There's not a lot of parking. So heads up, the revenue police are out.
Thank you, Brian. Question from Robert Mallory about the CPC meeting, monthly meeting that we attend. Actually, Esther attended the last one, and she's not present to give us a report. So I don't have a report on that meeting tonight, Robert, and I'm sorry she did not tell me she wasn't going to be here tonight, and we'll update you next month or somewhere in between, I guess. Harold Klotz, yeah, asked to get a different representative. That's certainly a possibility. Okay, well, Brian, your comments about the parking situation, I think I saw, did I see Officer Julie Drat? I thought I saw her here.
Yeah, she's in.
What is her screen name?
Officer Drat.
Oh, okay. Got to go down to O. There she is.
There we go. You can hear me now, right?
Yes, I can. Yes, we
Okay.
can. Thank you, Officer Drat.
So That's the first I've heard of any vehicle with a camera driving by, and I will have to ask our parking enforcement unit about that because I've never heard of that. So we'll leave that one at that one, and I will get back to you, Eric. Hopefully, if I don't have an answer tomorrow, hopefully I'll have one Monday or Tuesday for you, to share with everyone. Other than that, I would say as far as things go, I do know that we've had a few commercial burglaries in the area. And as far as stolen vehicles go, I know it's not directly in Carmel Mountain. However, the ones that I would like to speak on was just right next door in Rancho Penasquitos. And we actually have arrested somebody for it. They tried to flee from us, and the officers and detectives did arrest someone, and they were booked into county jail. So that is one note of something good. I will, aside from that, like I know you guys know it's fire season, obviously they are out, they're busy. So, with that being said, please just keep an eye out on everyone. Fire safety, it's huge because I know there actually was a fire down in the canyon the other day. Fire was able to handle it quickly. So just please be careful and mindful of when you're out doing yard work. And if you guys see anything, see smoke, please call 911. And I will open it up for questions.
Anybody have a question for Officer Dratt? Robert, do you want me to unmute you? Where we go? Oh no, he says. Okay, go ahead and type your question in the chat then, Robert. Maybe he was saying yes to something else. Oh. Does anybody have, does the city have a police station office in Carmel Mountain Ranch?
The answer to that is no, we do not have a station in Carmel Mountain Ranch. Our police station is in Rancho Penasquitos. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic, our front counters are closed. So again, if anyone has a police report to make, they're gonna have to call the police non-emergency. And that number, in case somebody doesn't have it handy, is 619-531-2000. That's 619-531-2000.
I'll type that in the chat in case 531. Somebody wants to know, is it legal to set off fireworks in a private backyard? I'm guessing no.
Is it, I'm sorry, they asked if it's legal or illegal. Well, wait, let's put it this way. No, they're not supposed to do that in the city. It's especially now in fire, it's a fire danger. So if anyone knows of that, I would highly suggest calling it in.
Right, okay. Anyone else have a question for Officer Dratt? Are there that many parking violations in Carmel Mountain Ranch? Kurt's asking.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, Kurt?
Well, I mean, one of the things that as a community we're worried about is the influx in population. There's going to be a lot more cars. There's going to be less parking stalls. And when cars, like right now, when you're giving tickets, are they just tickets, or you call tow service? Does it depend on where they're parked, how they're parked? That's kind of a weird question.
Yeah.
Trying to get an
Well, hopefully I can answer that. So, I mean, if they're on city streets, so it just depends. So if parking violations are on city streets, if parking enforcement is out, vehicles can be cited for certain things. Obviously right now, the main concern is fire lanes, handicap zones, the 72-hour violations. Those are still being enforced right now. And of course, if there's a hazardous situation, those can be evaluated. So as far as that goes, if a vehicle is parked, say, in a shopping center, and there seems to be an issue, then that is, it's private property open to the public. So if you will, that would be on the shopping centers to call in on those kind of vehicles for private tows. So I'm not sure if that quite kind of answers the question, or you still have further question on that.
Well, there's a lot of homeless people living in cars, and there's a few in our Ralph's parking lot, and there are people living in the, you know, in the parking lot at night, and I just curious as how that's handled.
It's a little touchy right now during the pandemic. However, again, because they are in those parking lots, the management, so whether it be, because I know there's a lot of businesses, so you may have to contact the property management company for those parking lots, and they can call the non-emergency number and inquire on that, and kind of go from there. So I know it's not a concrete, you know, answer, but that's, again, it's a touchy subject right now with the current pandemic. We don't want to put people in a worse situation. Again, we want to be able to offer them services, whether it be a shelter. I know that we did have parking lots within the city for people living in the vehicles to go to, one, for their safety, secondly, so they just weren't out, you know, urinating outside the cars, because we don't want that. That's not safe, not healthy. So again, I would highly suggest contacting the property management company that handles that area and ask them to inquire about that. You could even though it's in the parking lot, you could still, I would say, put in through the Get It Done app regarding, it's not an encampment, however, there's somebody living in a car. So again, that may be something, it could be brought to the attention of our neighborhood policing division to try to be able to assist with getting the information as well to our homeless outreach team to offer the individuals resources. So hopefully that helps answer that just a little bit better.
Thanks.
Kurt, I can add a little bit more color, and also for Officer Dratt. So I obviously didn't see any parking enforcement on the day that this ticket was issued, because it's just a drive-by, but I do look outside during the day for work at home. And I've seen, basically it's like a white sedan, and it'll say San Diego Police and parking enforcement on the side. So they're just driving up and down the streets. And then I can't remember the name of the vendor, but every city uses these guys for the parking system. And it just is snapping photos as it drives by. And this one is blocking a driveway, is the thing that they put on there. But there's no opportunity to like even get out of the car and go, oh, there's somebody in there moving the car from one parking spot to the other to make room for somebody else. So that's why I'm appealing it, but I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because I have noticed a lot of my neighbors blocking driveways to make room for the kids to play. And I don't want other people to get the ticket.
Right, now it's understandable, and again, I have not heard of that yet, so I will be contacting our parking enforcement unit just to educate myself on that, because normally that would be information shared with us, and I haven't heard of that yet, so.
Yeah, I don't know how frequently it is, if it's weekly or monthly, I don't know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Officer Dratt. I don't see any other questions coming up, so I think that you are free.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Stay safe out there.
Thank you. See you next time. Okay, I'm certain that CMR Fire is not here. I know they're busy. If I'm wrong, if there's somebody from CMR Fire, go ahead and raise your hand or type in the chat. Senator Brian Jones, representative. Nobody here. And then Assemblyman Mainshine's representative Rick Hauptfield is here. I see him there, and I unmuted you, Rick. There you are.
So can you hear me?
Yep.
Fantastic. It's good to see everybody. Hope everyone's doing well. Well, let me just keep it simple tonight for you guys. 3 things. The 2020 legislative session ended in Sacramento on August 31st. All bills that passed are now on Governor Newsom's desk, and he has until the 30th of September to either sign or veto. And our office is happy to provide updates on any and all bills that may be of interest to you. But you can imagine what will be next week will be 6 months that our office is trying to assist constituents with EDD. You guys probably know EDD is the Employment Development Department, and they're the ones administering unemployment benefits. So we have had not only all of our district staff, but Assemblymember Mainshine has made it the #1 priority to assist constituents with this. So most of our Capitol Office staff is also doing this at the same time. We're making like I said, #1 priority. We've made genuine progress and we've assisted a lot of constituents. But if you have anybody that you know, family, friend, neighbor, it doesn't matter, please have them contact our office. We have been, well, we've been good in terms of getting people the benefits that they deserve. We'd like to continue to be able to do that. So I'm hoping if you have anything along those lines, I will, in the chat line, I will put my email information as well as our office phone number. I might as well just, yeah, I'll press it here in a second. We were talking about fires. We all see the orange skies every day. I had some updates from CAL FIRE. As of today, well, we know that there's fires throughout the state of California. The statistics are this: 14,000 firefighters battling 25 major blazes across California. So far in 2020, 2.2 million acres burned. And for us locally, the Valley Fire near Alpine and the Cleveland National Forest is now 18,000 acres and just over 10% contained. And that's information as of this afternoon. CAL FIRE is working with the U.S. Forest Service, and they're doing joint command of that operation. And some of the other statistics there are 5 bulldozers, 14 copters, 93 fire engines, and over 700 personnel. And as you guys can probably know, with California and the West seeing so many fires right now, crews are being moved. So while I don't have exact information on it, Phoenix may send us a crew, or crew may come down from Fresno to help with our fire here in our backyard in the Valley Fire. So the idea of interagency cooperation and assistance is, well, I think it's pretty cool. So listen, guys, those are the 3 things I had for you. I really want to emphasize the EDD, the unemployment benefits side of that. And if there's any questions, I'd happy to answer.
Questions for Rick?
You guys are making it pretty easy.
I don't see any, Rick. You got one, Kurt?
Yeah, I got one.
All right.
So Rick, I get in my mail, and I'm sure everybody else does, this insurance request, or not a requirement, but an application to sign up for the city renewing service line home warranty program. How legit is that?
I would have to research it for you. So let me do this. I think you're on the email thread, Kurt. So what I can do is I will grab your email from that thread that went out with the agenda for tonight's meeting, and I'll send you a direct email tomorrow. You can then show me what it is, and then I can find out if it's actually legit or something else. Right?
Perfect.
Thank you, Rick. Okay.
Oh, one last question. How do I hit the send button on the chat over here?
I think you just hit your enter.
That's it?
I think so. I think that's what I do. Type and there you go.
There it is. See?
Yes.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Rick. I see that John Chu and Joseph Valencia have joined us. I'll unmute you guys so you can just intro and record that you're here.
John Chu, homeowner, Walden.
Thank you. Joseph.
Joe Valencia, homeowner.
Oh, and then somebody's telling me that Silva's here. Ah. Silva, are you there? It might be somebody else. Okay, well, we'll keep moving. Different spelling. Yeah. Okay, we got ahead of ourselves there. That's okay. All right. So now we are 11, right? 8, 9. No, 8 plus 2 is 10. Yes, 10. I am not. Yep. Sorry. Yes, we realize that now. Okay. So where does that leave us? Anthony George with Kristen Gaspar's office, I don't believe is here. Looking, I don't see him. Mayor Faulkner's representative, don't mean to be glib, but I can guarantee you he's not here. San Diego Planning, not here. Scott Peters, not here. Rick Smith has not been able to join our Zoom meetings. He is the official chair of the golf course subcommittee, the trails subcommittee. I've been running those meetings along with Kurt and others since COVID. Rick's wife has some health challenges and he has some technological challenges, I guess, with Zoom. And anyway, rather than a report, I guess I would open it up to any board member comments regarding anything that they've. Jonathan Frankel didn't have anything new for us this month on the trails. And I know that, you know, we've had some back and forth with the city. And I know that Harold and others had made an appointment to go look at some documents. And I don't know if anybody has anything to report on that. So if anybody has anything to report on anything new that they know regarding the trails, please indicate so, and we can discuss that now.
I have something, Eric.
Yeah.
So last month at the meeting we had in August, Jonathan talked a little bit about the buffers. And I don't know if most of you think of it this way, but the buffers have a lot to do with how much building they can do. Because the more buffers that we can get, the bigger buffers that we can get, the less building they can do. And also the better it'll be for us, especially for those who live on the golf course as well. I've been taking a look at the adjacent neighborhoods. You know, Jonathan seemed to show just the ones, obviously, you know, his examples were showing, you know, homes that were back to back. Well, you know, in Carmel Mountain Ranch, we don't have that many opportunities where that happens. If anything, we have the two major things are our streets and so I'm looking at the, and you know, when you look at a plan, looking at it down, it doesn't necessarily show the actual width because if it's a 2-to-1 slope, you're going to have about almost just under 1.5 times more slope or more buffer area. And we have a lot of those areas throughout. It's not always up against other developments. We have some single family homes that are up above the apartments, say along Rancho Carmel, but there are also you know, areas where the golf course is that have some slopes as well. And so, you know, we really need to take this serious, and we really need to, you know, there was a draft document that went out right after our meeting, that Eric, that you sent out to us. And it was like 4 pages. Most of it was graphics. And it was sort of showing things that we had already marked up and discussed. And it was another shot across the bow of what when we expressed our concerns, and there's been no response from the city. It's all been Jonathan. And so my concern is that, you know, we probably need to respond to this. And I know it's been a lot of work doing these other things that we've done already, but I'd like to hear what others think about this, because I mean, it was nice last time we had a lot of people helping and everything. And we you know, we really, persistence is what we have to maintain. We can't let, you know, they're going to try to outgun us, outweight us. We have to, you know, stay the march. We can't let up on this. This is really important. And it's too easy to give up on it. And if we give up on it, then they're going to build right behind us. We're going to have carports and headlights looking right into our windows where some of us lived on golf courses, or even if you didn't live on a golf course. So anyway, that's part of my
Thank you, Kurt. Yeah, I mean, we need to get back together and respond to that. And apparently, you know, as with the 9-page document that we all took so much time crafting and working on, you know, the stuff that we send the city gets inserted into the staff report that they send to the planning commission, and you know, we're not getting a lot of direct feedback from them on what we're doing, but it is all going into the final planning commission review process. So it's important to keep those going. Harold, well, okay, Harold, I'm going to come back to you. I've got you unmuted. Just hang out there for a second. Michelle Mullen has a comment.
Thanks, Eric. Is there a representative from New Urban West here at the meeting today?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't be at all surprised if somebody was listening, but no official presentation from them tonight. And if there is somebody, are you interested in asking them a question, or are you just curious?
Well, I'm going to make some comments just to be part of public record. I would like it if a representative were here to hear these comments. That would be nice for me. So, but in the end, it doesn't matter. I can make them again next month as well.
Okay. If there's anybody here from New Urban West in an official capacity or any other capacity that is able to hear comments, I don't see anybody, Michelle. So, I mean, if you want to hold off on those until they are here, or if you want to get it into the record.
Well, I'll say them today, and then I'll say them again next month. So
go ahead.
That can work. Okay. So I find myself kind of torn, not with this project. I believe that this project will change the character of Carmel Mountain Ranch. We don't need to argue good or bad. Everybody has their own opinion about that, but will definitely change the character of Carmel Mountain Ranch. And the big push that I get from the city and from New Urban West is that they're going to have not rent controlled, but income restricted units, 10%. And that's been percolating in the back of my mind. And from what I understand, 10% is the minimum required by the city. So to me, 1,200 units, the impact that that number of units will have on our community, the 25%, that's a significant impact for the minimum requirement. So my pushback is, all right, if you want to build that many units, I want to see 35, 40%. I want to see a much higher percentage for the impact that this development is going to have on our community. And if you're going to keep it at 10%, well, then we need to have significantly fewer units. We need to lower the height. We need to increase the buffer. I want him to fix the trail where it comes within 15 feet. He said there are 3 places where the trail comes within 15 feet. I don't know where those are. But I want him to fix these issues. If he's gonna only do, I'm saying he, but I mean New Urban West, if they're only gonna meet the minimum requirement for the income restricted units, then I want less units, significantly less, if they're expecting to get my vote.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Harold, are you there?
Yes.
You had a comment on Jonathan's presentation from last month.
Yes, I copied you on a letter I sent to Jonathan, and also copied the city.
I saw that.
I'm gonna hit a couple of points real quick. First of all, relative to Kurt's comments, I agree that Jonathan's selections of the 50-foot argument that he was giving. To start with, the off Capewood, where he showed 50 feet, it's actually 85 feet from the nearest house, the one that he was referencing, to the nearest building. So it's not like it's 50 feet. And the other thing is there is a 20-foot difference in elevation. The house, it drops 20 feet from the house. So that's like almost 2 stories. So you're kind of looking over the apartments, not at them. And definitely agree that his choices were all the smaller developments that have the back-to-back housing or a small difference between them. The one of them where it's not that situation, which is off Newporter, which is his last example, where he's saying there's 36 feet between the two. It's actually, there's an 11-foot elevation difference. The door-to-door distance, back of the house to the back of the house is 67 feet. But if he'd just gone 2 houses down, it would be like double that. So he picked the one of the narrowest spots in a triangularly shaped area. So anyway, yeah, that was a kind of, I don't know, it was some real cherry picking on what examples he gave.
Yeah.
But the bulk of my comments are about the presentation where his claim is that the size of the landscaped zone within the green belt was doubled. It says additional 15 feet of landscape area. And then the next line it says clarified landscaped zone. No buildings, parking, trash enclosures, or other uses related to housing are allowed in the landscape zone. So if you take that landscape zone and you look at the one right above it where it says double the size of the landscape zone, you think that we're going to have 30 feet with no buildings, parking, trash enclosures, or other related. But that's not what is in the revised design guidelines that he released the next day. And this was the core of my letter, is that the design guidelines says there's only one reference to this increase in additional 15 feet, and that happens on page 14, number 15, where it talked about the circulation elements being able to encroach. There is an additional sentence where it says automobile circulation, parking, and associated hardscaped areas are not permitted within the first 30 feet of the 50-foot buffer as measured from the property line. And then item 16 is still there, unchanged, a minimum 15-foot landscaped area shall provide. So there's other places where, and I detailed them in a presentation to them in like a 4-page letter, that it's clear that what he advertised in his presentation is not what he put in the design guidelines. And it's for as simple a thing as he was claiming to have achieved, for it not even to be in there, but be piecemeal and alluded to, but not correctly defined. It's really disappointing that he feels that we are not able to pick up on this fact. So hopefully he'll notice this. I sent the letter to him, to Michael Prince, to Jeff Peterson at Planning, and also copied Eric.
Yes.
So that's it for me.
Well, thank you for all your work on that. And Harold, I've got a question for you. You, as much as and more than a lot of us, are digging into these cycle review issues. And I don't have it in front of me. And there's somebody, Robert Mallory, is asking a question about the latest cycle review issues between New Urban West and City Planning and what the latest version is date. Are you aware of the latest revision date on the cycle review?
Yeah, as far as I know, and Alan would be the one to tell me if there's something newer. I think the latest that I have is from July 13th. And the July 24th / August 12th revisions from New Urban West were the response to those issues. So July 13th is the last city cycle report.
Alan, does that match your understanding?
Yes, it is. New Urban West made the last submission in the cycle, and they're waiting for the city to respond with an assessment letter and the latest cycle issues report. I asked Jeff Peterson, the city project manager, about that about a week ago by email, and he said that they were waiting to do their assessment letter and their cycle issue response until they get their environmental input from their environmental people who are hung up in Mission Valley related projects. So they're late in getting back to New Urban West.
I see. Probably a good idea for us to have a subcommittee meeting later this month. And I don't have a list of committee members in front of me, but I think the 30th probably works for me. And that's 3 Wednesdays from now. I'll check with the subcommittee members and see if they can do that, or if it's the Wednesday before or the Tuesday or whatever. But let's plan. And Harold, I'd like for you, if possible, to be able to at least attend that. I know you don't want to be on the subcommittee, but I'd like to be able to go to you as a resource, and Alan as well. So I need to make sure that you guys are available. But let's sort of plan on that later in the month here to make sure we're caught up on all of this. And then I lost my, hang on a second. I lost my chat window. Okay. Harold, Melanie, okay. Ryan. Yes, Jonathan said he was going to post plans and elevations on their website, and Ryan says he doesn't see any. Does anybody know if those got posted? And then
yeah, they did. He at the same time he posted the design guidelines the day after the August 12th meeting. He also put up a set of the current version of the plans.
And that's the CMR Vision website.
I don't think so. I think it's on the trails at Carmel Mountain Ranch.
Oh, okay. I thought it was there's a different.
I don't know what's gone with the Vision one, or you may have a link to it.
Okay, I see. Rich, you're up next.
I wanted to make a comment. I think Harold just made me remember something about the presentation that we were shown. And Eric, was that what he showed us? Was that an official answer to our letter, or was he just talking to us in a dialogue?
That was his attempt at responding to our letter, I believe. Yes.
To the city or to us?
To us.
Okay, because I was worried, because I went like a lot of folks were mentioning the elevation differences, and so I went into Google Earth and was looking at the 3D view of way everything is, and it's really deceptive when he's giving measurements and from a completely top-down map, and it doesn't really take the height in there or the topography and how a lot of those bigger buildings are down low, and you really get a good vision of that when you look at the three-dimensional view. It was, I was going to suggest, if that was his official response to the city, I was going to suggest we get some like three-dimensional maps or something, like viewing that some of the areas from the west looking east that really show, how the larger buildings are all at a lower elevation and the smaller ones are up above it, unlike what he's proposing, having the tall buildings all in, like, matter of fact, even in the top, in the highest parts of our golf course. So
right. Well, Kurt suggests we should produce our own exhibits to deal with this, and over the next couple of days, let's get together and figure out what we need to work on so that we can have a subcommittee meeting later this month. And, you know, I apologize. The last month has been just ridiculous for me. Well, I'm not complaining because I am busy, and that's a good thing to be in 2020. If you're working and earning money now, that's a blessing. But it seems like everybody in San Diego County all want to buy or sell a home at the same time, and that's been keeping me running from morning to night. But this is important, and I will carve out whatever time I need to help with the effort. So all good points. There's more comments here. I'm going to see if Brian has a comment. I just want to see if Brian, do you want to make that comment, or do you just want me to read it?
I'll say it out loud.
Go ahead.
So in regards to the affordability, right, the 10% minimum earlier, what's being proposed, right, is affordable for rent units. The city also has an affordable for sale program, which if people were serious about addressing home affordability, they would be proposing more of those type of units. I was just looking at the link that I posted here. Most of the units are in Carmel Valley, probably associated with Paseo 1. I don't know for sure, but then there's a couple in North Park. So there's not a lot of them, right? For rent is much better, you know, because it's a recurring revenue stream, which just creates, you know, the opportunity for people to be trapped in the rent cycle. So as we go through and we talk about affordability, you know, we should be pushing for sale units in any development that's proposed, not just the for rent.
I agree with you. And, you know, obviously when we get to talking about the Alante building, that this is going to come up again with regard to affordable. But, you know, I'm personally involved in the real estate industry and seeing prices just going insane at the moment. Even in Carmel Mountain Ranch golf course homes, I just had mine appraised and it was a lot higher than I thought it would be. Anyway, I think that it's an excellent point. I mean, if we're really trying to address people being able to afford homes, that means people being able to buy homes. And I'm not saying we're giving homes away to people that don't deserve them, but, you know, there's criteria and everything else. And these developments are not, they're paying lip service. They're doing the minimum, as Michelle pointed out. Excuse me. So it's just, in my view, and many others that I've talked to, if that's really the driving force behind this, then let's be real about it and make it affordable for people.
So I'm talking a little out of turn here, but I want to double down what Brian said in our last meeting. He was mentioning having some homes not only for sale, but required to, I don't know about the law or how those houses are sold, but I like what you were talking about, where we can have low income for sale and require, you know, require that the buyers live in the house. Brian, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. It was something you brought up last meeting.
Those type of houses are usually deed restricted to owner occupant.
Yeah, that's the link I posted in the chat. So there is a program for the deed restricted for sale units, and it's AMI, right? So it's a percentage of the adjusted median income. And so these are, you know, let's say there's 100 units in this condo complex, and, you know, a percentage of those are set aside for, you know, what percentage of the AMI is. So they don't look and feel the same, right? But just some of these are set aside. And of course, you know, the people buying the other units are going to be subsidizing that because, you know, builders are not charities. So that's the nature of how it's going to work. But if we're going to be serious about affordability, and we have basically a 50-50 split between renters and owners in San Diego right now, doing more deed restricted for sale would be an honest attempt versus just building more rental revenues, which is what is being proposed.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And plus, when you have homeowners in your neighborhood, you have folks with skin in the game on, you know, maintaining, you know, a good neighborhood, and, you know, just instead of, you know, not saying renters, you know, are worse than homeowners, but, you know, when you have a financial investment in the neighborhood, you're obviously more invested in the neighborhood. And I love that idea. It seems like a win for everybody, except probably the developer. But I love that idea.
Yeah, the future landlord, it's a loss for them.
So thank you guys. I see that the comments are stacking up and I haven't gotten to them. So let me scroll through and see what else we've got. John Chu says we need to see the distance between the buildings on existing courses as well as height changes on every proposed development. Yeah, I mean, that would be helpful. And John, anything you could do to help us get at that information or suggestion would be great. If you could email me or Kurt or all of us. Charles Fulchetti wants us to know that at the last meeting, New Urban West committed to providing them with open space changes on Unit 1 from present to planned development. No response so far. Emailed 1 or 2 weeks ago. Frankel, okay, no response. Requests that the group get a breakdown of open space plan for each unit. Okay, we can work on that for you, Charles. And when I announce the golf course subcommittee meeting, maybe respond and let me know if you can make that date so you can be there. Kurt, I have Harold's letter and I can forward it to everybody. Harold, yes, Karen wants a copy of your letter. And Robert Mallory says, can we obtain a copy of the cycle issues review links? Yes. And I believe those are obtainable to the public without intervention from me, but I can certainly get the links and send them out. And it's I'm gonna put an email address in the chat here because this Peterson, when you have questions like that, obviously you can ask me and I'm always happy to help. However, it's this guy's job to deal with our questions and comments. So that's Jeff Peterson. He's the lead planner on the trails at Carmel Mountain Ranch and has all of that stuff. And I'll get it again and links to cycle review. Get those out to everyone.
Eric, I think you might have sent that to me, the email address privately.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry.
That's from my unmute request earlier, sorry.
Yeah, okay. There, that's to everybody. All right, I'm going back up to try and find, it's okay, cycle issues review. We'll work on that, Robert. This is the website where all information is, but it's down right now. That's from, I believe that's Mark Mal, and he's giving it a link to the OpenDSD sandiego.gov project detail, and that 65256, whatever that number is the, for some reason having a trouble seeing my screen tonight. So yeah, that's where that information is, and I'm going to copy that link and paste it in again here for everyone. Okay, and then okay. Bureau V to everyone wants to know, do we know where New Urban West is getting their advertised job availability of 13,000 jobs, and have we received a fire evacuation plan based off their design? I don't believe we've received any plan from San Diego Fire yet. Does anybody know any differently?
No, I'm not.
Alan, any? No, I think my screen just froze. I don't think we have that yet. Michelle agrees with Brian. John Chu. Based on our current community, 75% of the units in CMR are owner occupied. We should be pushing for the same distribution, 25% rental, 75% owner for New Urban West, and the same percentage of affordable in both rental and owner occupied. Thank you. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah. Good.
And that was one of the things that we brought up in our letter to them. And it was also one of the things that Jonathan said he was going to, he called me before the last meeting and said that they were going to address the percentage of rental to for sale in the project. And he did not mention that on the 12th. And so we'll round him up and get him to the subcommittee meeting later this month so we can ask him about that as well. Okay. Yes, I think it's okay for me to distribute your letter, Harold. It was something that you sent to the city, and I don't see any problem sharing that. John Chu says that the PDF of the plans has a breakdown of the acreage and open space versus development. So John, you think that's the answer that Charles is looking for?
Just by acreage, it doesn't have the actual detailed plan.
Okay, so it's not the acreage of open space versus development on each unit or whole, and that's in the PDF. Okay, well we'll work on getting that and getting more detail from New Urban West. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the chat window on that topic, and obviously we need the letter that we wrote, the letter dated July 15th, I think it was a huge effort for all of us, and I talked about that already. And I think after we submitted that, we were temporarily just, I know I was anyway, just breathing a sigh of relief that we had at least gotten something out to the city and done something. And then, of course, the August response was lackluster at best. And then, the last month has been a blur, but we obviously need to get back to producing more information and more responses and addressing more of these concerns, so that at a very minimum these things get into the city staff report that eventually the planning commission will hopefully read. And the city staff, of course, buries our stuff at the end of the report, but it's in there. And we'll work over the next few days to get a plan together as to what our next effort is going to be. So let's move to the next agenda item so we can keep the meeting going. And that's the Alante subcommittee report. Brian, are you still unmuted or are you muted?
I'm unmuted.
All right. Do you have I'm sure you have something for us.
Yeah, so I talked to Javier today about logistics. So the September 29th is when this is scheduled to go in front of City Council. I don't have a time or any other detail. I don't even have a duration of the presentation. So I'm guessing, I said, can I get 10 minutes again? He's going to check with the guy who runs it because it's a different group that runs the planning commission that runs the city council. So I'll have a rehearsal, basically a tech run through on the 25th. So that's the deadline to get her done. And then, by the next couple of days, I should know how much time there is to present. So the plan there is to basically be very clear, right, about what the top issues are and what our asks are, right? So ideal ask would be keep it as a park and ride, unlikely to happen. Next best thing is we can at least cut a floor off, reduce it. That would bring it down to 38 units, which is still would be a profitable project per the sliding scale that was presented back in January of last year by the developer. Would not require a footprint change of the plans, So if it stays at 15 affordable units, it would not require a resolution change that was written a couple of years back. So that is the least friction option to present to the city as an alternative to a 70-foot monstrosity. And that is that's the plan. As far as public comment goes, there's a 200-word thing where you could submit your comments. So hopefully people have that link. I know it's been shared out quite a bit. When it comes to the actual call-in, it'll be the same kind of deal where there's a live meeting and then everybody's on the phone. If you're on the phone, it's live. If you're watching on the webcast or City TV, it's like a 30-second delay. People will call in, very likely to have a high volume of callers on both in support and opposed. So do not be surprised if it's limited to 2 minutes or worst case 1 minute, right? Default is 3 minutes. We know we got cut to 2 for the Planning Commission. So be very precise in your public statements. Just right to the point. And yeah, that's
okay. Prior to the 29th, do we need to have a subcommittee meeting to talk about anything, or are you working on getting prepared yourself, or how do you want to handle that?
Suppose we could just plan to rehash. We'll need to find out what the timing is and just rehash the previous presentation. But yeah, it'd be good to have that just to get everybody else to get some input.
All right. Well, let's you and I put our heads together tomorrow about when that could take place.
Yeah, I'd say the beginning of that week. So whatever, the 21st, 22nd, somewhere around there.
Okay.
I got 2 work deadlines that come first. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, believe me, I'm with you. I mean,
yeah.
Work is work, and this is also work, but
yeah,
it's not feeding anybody on our end. But we're doing it. We're doing it anyway because we want to. Okay. Any questions for Brian on the Alante? Whose mic is
Mark's iPhone? Mark's iPhone is picking up background noise. There you go.
Okay. All right. So let's move on for now then to CMR United. Troy. And
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
I first of all, I want to thank everybody for all your great work. These are challenging times, and the work of the golf course subcommittee and the overall board is really excellent. I've personally been gratified to see the work that you're doing, and I know it's hard, and you're volunteering, and I think a lot of us are working really hard. And it's very, very frustrating because I think, as some of the folks spoke earlier, Joe and Corey, community planning groups are being silenced. And what we're seeing at the city is very troubling, where you have small groups of people making major decisions without the input of the community. Carmel Mountain United is about power to the people. We're about opposing development where it's unwanted, and yet we still support what the community is doing in terms of too much, too tall. We're 100% support of that. But what we really would like to do is see this development done in a sensible way, using existing commercial space, retail space. Amazon's changing the world. We need to have smart vision for growth. Growth is needed, affordability is needed, and to accomplish that, what we need is we need a change in leadership. We need a group of politicians, leaders, that listen to what the people are saying. And we're going to continue to work very hard on pointing out that, you know, the Planning Commission, it should be a hearing that should be based upon fairness. And frankly, I don't really feel that it is a hearing. I think the decisions are made, and that's troubling to me. So it's a little commentary on thanking the community, and it's also some viewpoint, you know, that Carmel Mountain United has. I would also like to say that we put out a piece to support Brian and his committee, and we've been getting a number of people writing letters to the city, and I'm happy to send that communication out to anybody who'd like to receive it. It has 4 sample letters. It has all the city council members' email addresses. I will put up my email for the chat, troy@wealthanalytics.com. And if you'd like to get a copy of that, if you haven't seen it, we did send it to our whole database. So I think most of the people here have probably received that. And we really want to encourage you, if you haven't sent a letter, to get one out there. You know, we've got a couple more weeks, and we'd like to really see a flood of letters. We've actually seen some good responses from Council Member Bree, excuse me. Also, a couple other council members. Sadly, we haven't really gotten any responses from Mark Kersey's office. So I would encourage people to call Kersey's office. I don't know where his aide is. I don't see him here today, but you know, Kersey has all the information, and he should be letting us know where he stands on the Alante project. And the 4 sample letters address cognizant ways to improve that project and its community input. And we would appreciate the council members' support on that. And we're not quite sure where he stands. So that's my comments. Any questions, I'll happy to do that. I'll right now just go ahead and put on the chat my email, and I will forward letters to anybody that sends me an email. I also want to say, regrettably, and it was my mistake, we had a little miscommunication, and that information is not right now on the Carmel Mountain United website, which is carmelmountainranch.org, but it will be posted up there very shortly. Again, we apologize. It was really a miscommunication, but we are all volunteers doing the best we can, and that all that you know, letter information, it will be going out there. And I would conclude by saying this is really a dress rehearsal for the bigger project here. We've got to mobilize people. We've got to write letters. We've got to share our opinions to help support the community planning group, because, you know, letters are the only way that we can really impact things with politicians. They do respond to that. And unfortunately, right now, I just don't feel that we're getting any support from the city. Nobody's showing up for the community planning groups. They're not listening. It's very troubling. And that concludes my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy, and thank you to all of your volunteers at CMR United for the work that you're doing on behalf of Carmel Mountain Ranch. We appreciate you and enjoy working synergistically with you. So thank you. Does anybody have any, and I completely skipped Mark Schaefer on the agenda, and is he here? I don't see, if he's here, please, Mark, if you're here, please indicate so, and I'll come back to you, because I didn't mean to skip you, but I don't think I saw him in the participant window. So I don't think he's here.
Is that?
No, that's Mark Clark.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I don't think it usually says Mark Schaefer or Schaefer. It's his name that I usually see, and he's not jumping in on the chat, so I don't think he's here. It's in, you know, I don't know, the meeting, it's a short week, I guess. The meeting notice, the city posted it on the 4th. I didn't get my email out until, I don't know, whatever, Sunday, I guess. But in any event, he's not here. And our regular monthly meeting is the second Wednesday at 6:30, and no different this month. So anyway, I don't see any questions popping up for you, Troy. I think you've done a really good job of explaining yourself, and nobody has any questions. So thank you for that. Chair's report, I have nothing to offer in addition to anything that's already been said. I don't believe we have any other old or new business or action items tonight. So we may actually, Karen says, working on emailing the city copies of Provencal petitions that we collected. Thank you, Karen. So yeah, we'll get together. We'll let you know. We'll let all of you know when the Alante subcommittee is going to meet sometime between, it's probably going to be early in the week of the 29th, and then the golf course subcommittee, maybe on the 30th, I think is probably a good time to stick that one. But if there's nothing else, that does bring us to the end of our agenda tonight. Our next regular meeting is October 14th at 6:30. And we will get a notice out regarding the timing of the golf course subcommittee meeting and the Alante subcommittee meeting. Please, oh, John Giltner, okay. Thank you, Joe. Giltner, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Asked to be unmuted. You're unmuted, John. John?
Hey,
There you go.
I listen to the talking heads 3 or 4 hours a day. I understand, can't verify it, that President Trump signed an executive order that would allow developments in suburbs not to include the low-income housing.
That only deals with federal housing projects, John. This is a private project, and that executive order has no bearing on what's happening here. If anybody knows any differently, they can say so, but I don't believe that has any bearing on this particular project that we're worried about.
Okay, I just had to ask a question.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you look better without the beard. You look younger.
Thank you. When we go back to normal, maybe I'll get rid of it. This is my alter ego pandemic Eric, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so if there's nothing else, let's go ahead and adjourn for now and reconvene Wednesday, October 14th at 6:30 with 2 subcommittee meetings in between to be announced shortly. Thank you all for your attendance this evening. I appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. I'm going to stop the recording.